Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call me old-fashioned, we bringing that heat. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast. Dabbling with the rear view, raise your glass. Bourbon hunting for unicorns, that's the chase. High ride heat, put a smile on my face. Respect to the OGs, yeah, they set the tone. Tucks, Mr. Lopez, I rock, Derek gone. Notes hit strong, low-key smooth ride. I'll see you on the other side.
Welcome to the third annual Call Me Old Fashioned Bourbon Whiskey Awards for 2025. We have a jam-packed show for you tonight. We have, of course, the awards from Best Whiskey and Best Bourbon for 2025, and of course, the Worst Whiskey and Bourbon for 2025. And on top of that, we have the most coveted award, which is the Best Mod for the Call Me Old Fashioned channel 2025. I know you're dying to hear that one, but you're gonna have to wait. On top of that, we will be going over the entire Call Me Old Fashioned collection as it stands for right now. But we'll dive into that here in just a second. I am here on the red carpet. I've been seeing some big names roll up already. We got Jack Daniels in the house, Woodford's Reserve, but the one we have not seen yet is gonna be the Russell Square. Where are they? We don't know yet. But when they get here, I'll let you know. So to kick off the show, I'm gonna go ahead and send it over to Call Me Old Fashioned, where you can kick off going through the collection. I'll see you back here when the awards start. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Call Me Old Fashioned, where we talk everything bourbon, whiskey, and of course, old fashions. Thank you, Richard. Now it's time to go through the entire collection. And I mean, every bottle. There's over 120 here. I've dialed it back too, right? I haven't just been buying out the ass. I've actually been trying to drink some of them away. But there's about 120 to 130 different bottles in here that we're going to go through tonight. Along with, we have the award ceremony. It's our third annual Call Me Old Fashioned Awards. We've done this every year. It's also the anniversary of our live streaming. First year, right? A little slow. Just a couple of us in here. Mr. Lopez, Tux, the OGs. But now it's time to go through it for the third time. So buckle up. Happy New Year's. Obviously, you have the countdown clock here. I have it blocked. What is it? We got 2 hours, 55 minutes till the ball drops. Typically, I stay all the way until about like a couple minutes before, and then I go celebrate with the wife, and then we come back. So count down the New Year's with me as we go through the entire collections. I have the night start off with the Penelope Creme Brulee in honor of Tux and I's anniversary. Let's check the chat real quick before we go through the bottles. So Bourbon Daddy says, "Let's go, baby. I've been waiting for this stream." I'm glad you've been waiting. Suk says, "I'm out tonight, but I'll be on when I can. Cheers 2026, boys." Liz says, "Happy New Year's." Kyle with the super chat already. Kyle, what's up? Baby, I gotta minimize that. He says, "Happy New Year's." Happy New Year's to you, Kyle. Yeah, just move that over there. Let's see. Kyle says, "Have a good night." High Top says, "Let's go." He's like, "Is that the real Richard Seacrest?" It is real Richard Seacrest. I hired, some big names for the night, boys. I hired some big names. We're gonna have some special guests on. We're gonna have some cocktail making. We got a bunch of awards to give out, including Best Mod. I know you guys, that's what you're here for, but you're gonna wait for that one. Raging Cajun says, "Happy New Year's." Caterpillar says, "Happy anniversary." High Top says, "I need the link." Bubba, check your text. You got to give me a second. Almost time for the ball to drop. We got a couple years. Teresa says, "Happy New Year's." Ladies and gents, let's go ahead and start off with the first section. Shelton, I'll send you a link here in a second. Let's go to the second can here. We're going to start off with, in honor of Tux, going through the Penelopes. Caterpillar says $1.99. Popper chat? I can't read it from here. We'll get to it in a second. First up is going to be the Penelope Creme Brulee. Obviously, this is the one me and the wife got on our last date night, which feels like forever at this point. But I'm going to knock that over, ain't I? So one of the more newer ones I have is the Penelope Project X. This is the sherry finish one, right? 110 proof. This was a gift. Actually, 112 proof. That was a gift, though, from my uncle. Then we have, of course, we still have the Havana. We had this last year. It's good. Not as good as it used to be, I would say. On top of that, we have the Penelope Rio. I like this one better than the Havana, I think, but it's still low proof, super sweet, so I don't really go to it that often. From there, we have the Penelope Toasted, level 5 char, obviously. Hit or miss. This one's been getting better. The more it opens up, the better it gets. You guys are going crazy in the chat, but I'm going to check it when we get done going through the Penelopes. Next up, we have the Rosé Cast. Again, not a big fan of this one, but you got to keep it around. It also kind of goes with the collection, you know. Next up, another one I like. I just don't go to it that as often as I want, mainly because it's buried back here. But it's going to be the Penelope Wheated. Really great budget weeder, I'd say. Lower proof, again, but not a bad pour. Another one that I probably should try maybe tonight, maybe in the hangout section of the stream. It's Penelope Cigar Blend. I didn't care for it too much. This is the first one, 101 proof. I think I'm more salty with this one, right? I pre-ordered it. It took forever to get here. I was supposed to have it early, and then I got it probably last, and really just left a little bad taste in my mouth. And it wasn't that great. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't. I think I might have hyped it up too much in my head. So we'll revisit that eventually. Another Penelope Valencia. A lot of hype around this one. Don't know why. A lot of people like it. I could honestly care less about that one. Penelope is like 50-50 for me. It's either really good or really just not up my alley. Another one here is the Barrel Strength. I do like this one, but I use this one probably incorrectly. I add this into my cocktails, right, to make it a little bit stronger. And the cocktails I'm adding it to is going to be the pre-mixed Old Fashions. I do have the Black Walnut and the Peach Old Fashioned. But if you add just like a ½ ounce to an ounce of the Barrel Strength into these, fantastic. So, you know, if I had to pick like top 3 Penelopes, number 1 by far is going to be the Creme Brulee, right? This one's just fantastic. It's like dessert in a glass, but decent proof. I also am a big fan of the Architect. So the Architect in general is good, but I think adding that extra complex save to it really boosts it up. From there, I'm probably going to go with the Project X. Maybe because it's newer, like newly biased. I don't know what y'all call that. But I like it. It's different. Again, 112 proof, not bad. And then from there, I'm going to go Barrel Strength. And then you can toss up the rest. I think the Wheated may take a little advantage over that, but, you know, it just really depends on what day we're feeling. So, back to the main cam. I got to get High Top his link. Second cam angle shit. Hey, kiss my ass. Oh, he said shit. My bad. Popper chat. Popper chat? You guys have me going all over the place. We got a lot to go over. We're not going to just go over it all in one breath here. We got some awards to give out and stuff like that. Caterpillar says Penelope. Recency bias. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Sorry. It took me a second, you know? So we got a ton of stuff to go over, but let's go ahead, send it back to Richard Seacrest so we can go ahead and give out the first award. Thanks, Call Me Old Fashioned. Now let's go ahead and dive into the first award, which is going to be Giving the People What They Want award. Let's go through the nominees. The nominees for Giving the People What They Want award is going to be the Sazerac Rye Full Proof, 125 proof, I may add. You have the Old Fitz 7-year, the Jack Heritage, which is now that Shelfer product, and then the Russell's 13 2025. And the winner is Sazerac Rye Full Proof.
Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jack Daniels got a history. There's a party downtown near 5th Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy.
Call Me Old Fashioned, that one was a tight one where everybody thought the Russell's 13 was going to take that one, but I think the price kind of held that one back where the Sazerac Rye 125 proof was coming in right at 40 bucks. So I think the people wanted that. I also heard it's very similar to the Thomas Handy and people are loving it. So let me know what your thoughts are. Call Me Old Fashioned, back to you. Thank you, Richard. We are back, gents. Yes. So, giving the people what they want award. So, I thought of this award as far as like, there's a bunch of bottles that came out, and I felt like a lot of distilleries really listened to the people this year. Buffalo Trace being one of them, right? I think everybody knows with the 90 proof, it was good, but it really just wasn't hitting home, right? Then they came out with the 1 liter 100 proofs, which really got some good traction, and it was good. It was definitely better, not by light years though. And I think literally everybody said the same thing. He's like, if you could make a slightly higher proof one, people will run to it. And I think that's what's been happening. Sazerac Rye full proof is 125. It is the same mash bill as the Thomas Handy. I haven't done it. I don't have Thomas Handy, so I can't really speak on this. But from what I've seen, is a lot of people are doing it in blinds, and this is either coming really close or winning. Can't speak on that. I haven't done the blinds. Who knows if they're just blowing smoke? But for even it to be in that conversation is kind of crazy because this bottle is only like 40 to 45 bucks, depending on where you're at. They're slowly becoming more available as people kind of get their one and done. But this is the second bottle I'm already on, and it's already been dented. I like this one a lot. I think this is probably my. Well, I don't want to ruin it, but it could be up there with some of the best ryes. There's going to be that award tonight too. So because this one won, let's go ahead and go over. I don't really have a Buffalo Trace shelf, but I got a little Buffalo Trace section, if you will. So let's go ahead and go over that. I don't have to. I guess we can swap to the other camera. All right, we can do that. So let's go to the next cam here. I didn't think this far out. You know what I mean? So who knows how this part's going to go. But obviously, first up, Blanton's. Obviously, I think everybody has a Blanton's in their collection. For the ones that actually care, this is a Horsey A, right? Don't know if that really matters too much. I don't collect the horses. I still have the Weller Special Reserve. Been hanging on to this one. If you guys have been around the channel, you know what this bottle is. It's not. I'm not hyping it up or anything like that. It's just a more sentimental bottle to me. Then you have Eagle Rare 10-year. I don't have the 12, want the 12, but not willing to camp outside for Negro 12-year. I hear it's great, but I like the 10. I think it's great for the price. I burn through these bottles, so it's for sure a good one. Now, a new one as well, which is gifted to me, is the E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Now, me and him both thought this was a rye, and that's because the labeling's green. I was like, rye, obviously. Buffalo Trace and E.H. Taylor, they got to get their shit together because they're labeling the colors, just throwing people off. But either way, this one is the 127.2 proof. It is fantastic. Definitely, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that this one's probably the best Buffalo Trace product that I think I've had. I haven't had too many, and I based a lot of this stuff off of is based off of what I own, not what I've tried by other people. Because unless you're sitting down really reviewing it and kind of take your time drinking on it, you don't know what you're drinking half the time. But that one's fantastic. I do have a little bit of the Sazerac Rye 100 proof left. It mainly still here just because I found another bottle of the 125 proof. So that one's fantastic. I like how that one comes in a liter rather than just the normal size. Now, two other Buffalo Trace products are Benchmark. Now, I did give away my single barrel, but I kept the full proof, the 125. That one's fantastic too. I kind of would put that in the same category as the Sazerac Rye full proof as far as budget goes. Same proof, but the Sazerac Rye is just light years better. So, and then of course the Bonded 100 proof. I use these kind of as mixers, but I do drink the full proof every so often, right? Now, just because we're on the shelf already, let's go over what else is on this shelf. So we do have a bunch of Woodford stuff, right? We have the batch proof. I don't remember which year, to be honest. It's the 121.2 proof from the Masters collection. And then I also have the infamous Woodford's double oak, the 700 milliliter, $200 banger that everybody lost their mind over. And then, of course, I have a couple of the distillery only series. Right now, these are the hard to get ones, mainly because you have to go to the distillery to get it. Now, I got all three of these from Unicorn Auctions. starting off with the first one, which is going to be the Chocolate Whisper Redux. This is the highest proof they've ever released from Woodford's, 139.4 proof. So just a hair under hazmat. It's fantastic. If you haven't had this, like, this is a bottle you guys should probably hunt. Not to spend like a crazy money. I think I paid what, $100, maybe $100, which is kind of a little much for a 375 milliliter bottle, but it's definitely worth it. I think they're going to release it again. I hear that that's kind of like a thing they do every year. I don't know about the proof every year, but it's a good one. I also have the blended malt sherry cask finish. This one is the 2024 90.4 proof. I got these all at the same time, by the way. And then the toasted bourbon for 2024, again, another 90.4 proof. All three of them are the 375 milliliter bottles, but all damn good. Honestly, like, with them being that small, I don't drink them as often, which pros and cons to that, right? But mainly because I'm like, I don't want them to go away. You know, I like them a lot, but you know, they're gonna have to be drank eventually. So we will, we'll definitely break into some of that stuff tonight as well. Probably the higher proof, the Chocolate Whisper Redux. But let me know what you guys are sipping on. Obviously, we got a long stream. We're already 16 minutes in. I'm probably going to go over one more shelf before we swap over. But drop a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. If you're new and you're tuning in and you made it this far and haven't subscribed, what are we doing? But let's go over my double oak shelf. I can't show it, it's right here, but pull it over. But I kind of section out like a handful of my double oaks. It's not all because it's kind of maxed out, but this one won Best Pour of the Year, I believe last year, right? Or the year before that, can't remember. But this is the New Luke Double Oak Straight Bourbon Whiskey Wheated, 125 proof. This is a single barrel from Sealbox. Mash bill is like a 51% corn, 45% wheat, and 4% malted barley. But for a double oak wheated, it is fantastic. I don't like, you can't even really count that I still have this at this point. There's like an ounce left of the Woodford's double oak. A lot of people, when they come over, this is what they grab, or maybe it's just what I offer them. I don't know. And not a lot of bourbon folk come over here too often, but when they do, they typically are grabbing that. Another double oak, Starlight, Carl T. Hubbard's double oak. What is this? 125.2 proof, 4-year age. This is a French oak double oak. So not the traditional like chocolate notes, more vanilla notes, but it's still pretty good. Not my favorite, but it's good. Another one we got this year, which is Barrel Foundation Double Barrel, 5-year age, 100 proof double oak. Again, this one's a banger. Kind of sad it's only 100 proof, but it's fantastic for the price. Let's see. This one's not a double oak, but it's a toasted. Lucky 7 Holiday Toast, 119.6 proof. This is a single barrel pick from Wild Whiskeys. I had that one last year. That was like the drink of winter last year. That one's fantastic. Another banger, which kind of dethroned my Woodford's double oak, but it's going to be the Peerless double oak. This one is batch 19, 108.4 proof. Fantastic pour. So I gave away, I bought a, what do you want to call it? Like a gift set for the Yellowstone. I gave away the rum and the small batch, but I kept the toasted. It's a 375 milliliter bottle of Yellowstone toasted, 100 proof. It's pretty good. It's definitely my favorite out of that box. I didn't care for the other ones, but it's pretty good. It was good enough for me to keep. I feel like I'll drink it eventually, just whenever I get around to drinking more double oaks. And of course, you can't really have a double oak selection without having Jim Beam double oak, right? Little budget banger for the people that want double oak but don't want to spend a lot of money. So lower proof, but it's still pretty good. So let's go ahead and check back with the chat, and then we will get to the next award. So let's see. Bourbon Lover in the chat. Cheers. Cheers, buddy. What's going on? Welcome back. It says, hopefully everyone's doing well. I think we're doing great. It's our annual New Year's Eve live stream where we go through the entire collection. We go over some bourbon awards. We got some stuff flowing tonight. So buckle up, enjoy. if you're out, make sure you guys are being safe. Like, don't go drive and drink. Like, I'm sure there's a DUI checkpoint somewhere near you. So just make sure you guys are being safe. Raging Cajun says, Bourbon Lover, cheers. Happy New Year's. Alex Martinez in the chat says, hi, call me old fashioned. What up, baby? Christian in the chat says, cheers, call me old fashioned. Happy New Year's. On my way home, I'll be in and out for the next 30 minutes. You're going to miss some things, my boy. Make sure you ain't drinking and driving. Nobody doing any of that stupid shit tonight. So, again, we went through the Penelopes. We went through the Double Oaks. We went through the Buffalo Trace-ish shelf. So I think it's time to do another award. You know what I mean? I think it's only right. So, I think he's ready. Yeah, Richard Seacrest is ready for the next award, so I'm going to send it over to him. That is right, call me old fashioned. It is time for another award, and it is going to be what is the best craft whiskey for 2025. Here are your nominees. Starting off with Still Austin Cask Strength, Pipe Dream 101 from Redwood Empire, Frey Ranch Farm Strength, and of course, the New Riff Sherry Finish. And here is your winner, Still Austin Cask Strength.
Whiskey, whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. 'Cause a memory came out to play.
All right, call me old fashioned. Go ahead, back to you. Enjoy going through your collection. Bro, that guy knows how to host an awards ceremony. I'm just saying, Richard Seacrest is out here just killing the game. Drop a like for Richard Seacrest. But Best Craft Whiskey Award. Now, for me, I don't have a ton. I have a good small little selection, and I'm sure some people are going to say this is better than that, this is better than that, whatever. But to me, for the ones that I have, I think Still Austin Cask Strength is probably one of the better craft whiskeys. I love everything that Still Austin puts out, but their cask strength, when you kind of put in the factor of price, availability, and just overall great taste, like, it is a fantastic bottle. Frey Ranch was up there for me, right? I think those two were kind of neck and neck, but when you look at price, like, Still Austin, I could get two of them for that. In some areas, sure, I get the price fluctuations and stuff like that, but for me, the Still Austin Cask Strength, where is it? Over here. 116 proof. Fantastic bottle, right? I'm like knocking stuff over left and right. But 116 proof, it's great in an old fashioned, but it's even better neat. I'm not like the biggest fan of putting like 90-ish proofs in old fashions anymore, besides Woodford's Double Oak. But even like just their normal musician, it's like 90.3 or something like that. It's fantastic in old fashioned as well. It's just something with the Texas heat that really brings in flavor for this one. Let's see. Caterpillar says connectivity issues, troubleshooting, leave and come back. YouTube's messing up. No. What's messing up? That's messed up. Are they doxing me? What's happening here? They don't want people coming in? They're trying to bring me down. They don't want anybody to know the awards, apparently. So, I think it's time to go over another shelf, another part of the collection. Since we already are going over the Still Austin stuff, let's go ahead and go over the Still Austin shelf. Now, Still Austin shelf has a couple things on here, right? A little spin for you boys. But obviously, just another close-up. Still Austin Cask Strength Musician, 116 proof, fantastic pour. If you haven't had this, what are we doing? Let's go. That's something you buy. That one's decently priced too. Right now, but I'm getting off topic here, but they have the gift sets where you get the musician, cask strength, musician, just small batch, I guess they're calling it, and the small batch of the rye. So a 96 proof rye, which is actually, I have that. The straight rye whiskey, actually it's 99.6 proof. But it comes in 375 milliliter bottles of this one, the cask strength and the regular musician. On top of that, I do have the cask strength rye whiskey. This one's fantastic. One of my favorite ryes, 116 proof, just like the bourbon. But when it comes to this rye, it's not the typical rye. It's not super minty and spicy. It's got a little bit of sweet twang to it with some herbal notes in it. And for me, I like things to stand out, right? And that bottle to me really does stand out. Let me get with the chat real quick. YouTube was going crazy. This is now you're good. I was telling him to leave, come back. It's cooking. Best show on YouTube. It is best show on YouTube. I don't know what to tell you. Another great bottle as well. Now this one is their 2024, I believe. Yeah, summer 2024. Still Austin Bottled and Bond Red Corn, 100 proof, made with their red corn bottle. Art's fantastic. That's one of the things I love about Still Austin is all of the art really is great. It's done by a local artist. They're in Austin, Texas. 5-year age on it though. I'm not the biggest fan of red corn stuff, but this is fantastic stuff. I'm gonna drink this now. Actually, let's do that. A little side note here. A little pour, right? It's a whiskey show, right? We can do that. Yeah, it's got a little of that. A little bit of the grain on the nose, but I know it's going to hit with that sweetness. Banger, bro. That bottle's older, but it hasn't really been affected as it's been sitting on the shelf. Now, probably the best Still Austin bottle I own is the Still Austin Tanager First Edition. I'd break out the fancy box with it and stuff like that, but I like it sitting on the shelf. And with the lighting setup too, I don't really care for the box. I know a lot of people like that, but the detail on this bottle, it's got the wood grain for the neck of the bottle. The cork itself, I don't know if I can get that to focus. It says Tanager. Obviously, Tanager is a bird, by the way, if you guys didn't know. And it has a little bird's nest with eggs up on the top. Obviously, you have the gold medallion, and obviously the Tanager bird right there. Also got a little bit of gold notes on the back. That one's fancy, right? But when you guys see best pour of the year, I can guarantee you this bottle is going to be up there. It is fantastic. So next up, that's all for the Still Austin stuff. I wasn't lucky enough to get the blue corn this year. Pissed. Probably going to have to go to unicorn auctions, pay secondary. Oh, speaking of the devil, old-fashioned ways, bro. Every time I see his stuff, dude, he has every Still Austin. Like, what are the odds he comes in that section? Because he gets them all. Because I think he lives right there. I'm going to have to go roommate with him or something just so I can get more Still Austin bottles. But that's all I have for Still Austin. So next up for the collection, I do have New Rift 8-year bourbon and the 8-year rye. Both bottled and bonds, both 100 proof, obviously. But the 8-year age really does make a difference with these bottles. Now, let me say a caveat. I have not tried their new single barrels, which is going to be obviously higher proof than 100, and I believe they're around 6-year age now. It could be better, but I haven't had it, so I can't really speak on it. But I do like those better than just the normal single barrels that I've found. I feel like the single barrels are kind of hit or miss, but I think probably my favorite New Rift, and it wasn't always like this either. It's the Kentucky Straight Malted Rye Whiskey finished in sherry barrels, so a little sherry finish, and it is barrel proof, so it's 111.5 proof. This one's just kind of, I'm not a big wine finish bourbon kind of guy, or rye for that matter. But this one is just, it's light years. At first I didn't care for it, but it opened up and it is just like raspberry jelly on some spice. It's fantastic. Really great bottle. Let me put a couple of these back as we're going through it so I can keep the shelf from falling on me here. And then we have a couple Old Forsters to go over. Whiskey blender, Miss Nancy, what's up, baby? So the musician is actually 98.4 proof. Glad you've been digging the red corn bourbon and the Tanager Edition 1. I know, I didn't get the Tanager 2 or the blue corn, so I've been in poverty level over here. What are the odds you guys come in when I'm talking about Still Austin? Because I'm literally going through my entire collection. It's just a weird coincidence. I can't have the Tanager that close to the edge. What are we doing? All right, next up is going to be the Old Forester selection here, right? Old Forester, 1924, 10-year age. This one's fantastic, but it's dessert in glass, to say the least. It's almost like drinking brownies with some cinnamon. You have Old Forester, 1920. This is one of the probably first bottles I actually bought. Higher than 100 proof. I believe it's 115 proof, but it's probably the first one I noticed, besides Jack Daniels, obviously. They had this really profound banana note, which was fantastic. And then, of course, I have Old Forester 1910. What is this one? Yeah, 93 proof. And then the Old Forester single barrel. I don't remember who picked this one, but it's 129.8 proof single barrel rye. Another great one. This one leans more bourbon than rye to me, so I don't know if it was like a weird mash bill or something like that, but it was. I mean, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad by any means. Old Forester can't miss, but it. I was expecting it to be like hardcore rye, and it was more of a little bourbon friendly there. So let's get back to the chat. Old Fashioned Way says, glad you grabbed one. No, it's the first edition. I had to go hunt down secondary to get that Tanger. I'm gonna have to do it for the second one too, because there's no way I don't get that. Like that's like a must. That's like pour of the year worthy. You know, I hear it's better too, which is heartbreaking. He says I live 5 hours away, but I have a mother-in-law that loves me and lives 1 hour away. See, I need to tell my mother-in-law to move. That's what you're telling me. I was thinking of a cigar with Tanger for tonight. Probably wait for tomorrow to do. Do you suggest one to pair with the Tanger, Miss Fraley? I would also like to know that answer. I typically go with the acid cigars, but I do know that it is good with the Eagle Rare cigars too. But I'm not like big in the cigars. Like I like a good cigar, just I'm not. You know what I mean? I ain't got all that stuff. So I think we are gonna have a special guest here in just a minute. Let me see. So far we've done 2 awards. Best Craft Whiskey of 2025 went to the Still Austin Cask Strength, and then the Give the People What They Want award is what I called it. I made that up, but it's what I like. And that went to the Sazerac Rye Full Proof for just being a fantastic bottle at a great price. So, let me do this. Turn off. Turn on. Let me get it there. All right. So let's go ahead and send it back over to Richard Seacrest. He's been ringing in here, so I think there might be another award. Let's send it over to him. Call me old-fashioned. Hopefully your night's going good. You're not too buzzed yet because we have a long night. Now, before we get to the next award, we do have a special guest. High Top Sports is coming on to do a little old-fashioned cocktail making.
Bury me with bourbon next to a moonshine still, cause I heard and I bet that I always will for the dirt, and don't forget a bottle of the bean.
Richard C.
High Top Sports, what's going on?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah?
I can't hear you.
Ah.
Hold on.
Your first time streaming?
We're vibing too.
We were.
Hold on.
What about now? You did something.
Talk to me. Hear me?
Yep.
No.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. While you figure that
real
out,
quick.
Old-fashioned way says
I don't know. It's
your old-fashioned tonight. What'd you make it with though? A little Still Austin?
There you go.
hold on, Rick. Let me.
Yep.
It's a me issue. Let me call you back in.
Yep. It's first time streaming, guys. Don't worry. He'll be back. So when he calls back in, we're gonna do a little old-fashioned cocktail here, and I think just for funsies, let's do it with the Still Austin, right? We'll do it with the cash strength bourbon. My camera's all out of focus here. Look at, hey, you guys say I'm never prepared with ice. I got ice tonight. I got the real thing, the real McCoy. Now, I'm not gonna make it super proper, but I am gonna make it. I am going to do it. So, there is fireworks going off outside. Nancy, you don't know what a freezer door old fashioned is? It's where somebody basically takes a bottle of whiskey, pours out a couple ounces, or drinks it. Probably don't pour out. They probably drink it. And then they go ahead and add the bitters, simple syrup in, and then they put it in the freezer, and they got a pre-made old-fashioned just sitting in the freezer chilling, just waiting for a good time. Usually you use something fairly lower priced. Yeah, a little freezer door old cask strength. I would do that too, but I would have to buy 2 more bottles in because there's no way I don't have this neat half the time. So, all of our special guests tonight have been just flaky, I guess, just little flakesies. But I'm going to keep it moving. So I like to do, I appreciate the explanation. I'm sure you already knew. So I like to make most of my old fashions with this Woodford's old fashioned cocktail syrup. Mainly, one, because I like it a lot, actually. But it also is like very consistent when I drink old fashions. And I'm kind of being judgy with them to figure out if I like the bourbon or the whiskey in the old fashioned. So it's kind of like just like a good standard syrup. I can't really mess it up, right? Instead of just adding my own bitters, my own simple syrup, stuff like that, a lot of times I go with this. Now, whenever I'm not streaming and I can make a mess in the kitchen, by all means, I'm doing cube sugar. I'm using bitters. Usually I'll use the Woodford's bitters still. Nancy's in here. Can we get some Still Austin bitters? That'd be fantastic. I'd buy the heck out of that. But the I'll use the orange and the spice cherry ones from Woodford's typically. I have the chocolate ones too, but we'll see. OG Brick in the house says, "Cheers, folks. Cheers." What's going on? Eric in the chat says, "Started with Haystack Needle Rye, followed by Smoke Hill Rye, and now my 10-year Hazmat Corbin Cash Rye." You diving into the rye tonight. You'll probably want to stick around for the award for the best rye whiskey of the year. I'm not giving no hints. I'm just saying it's a good one. It's a good one. Also, Filthy Cherries, my second favorite. I like Luxard too, but these are a little cheaper. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and bring back in our guest now that he decided he wanted to show up.
Bro, I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed, dude.
Are you back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just turning you down because now you're screaming at me. I mean,
yeah. So I had the mic that you saw. It was like taking the audio there too, for whatever reason.
Oh, I thought you were just bailing. That's all. Just trying to mess up the show?
Yeah, I set up a whole studio in my 30 below porch to bail. Yeah, that was my goal. Yeah, for sure.
I see.
I got $4,000 worth of gear on my porch just for me to go. You know what? I'm out.
I'm out. I got the cocktail stuff. We're good to go. I see you got a little fire. I see you got a lot of ingredients in here. What are we making?
Yeah. So, first of all, shout out. This is an incredible show, by the way. Like, hands down, outdid yourself. Great job.
Richard Seacrest guy, he's pretty dialed in.
He's good. Yeah. He's good. The guy is. I'm thoroughly impressed, just with his knowledge and his ability to deliver. I mean, very good, very good. But yeah, I'm making it old fashioned. You really didn't give me much rules, so I don't know what you're. Am I just going after it and just making it and telling you why?
Yeah, I just said make an old fashioned the way you want to make it, and just kind of tell people why. You know, that's all we're here for. Is talk a little whiskey and bourbon in between going through the collection and the awards, break up the monotony. You know.
All right, so perfect. Well, I mean, I think I'm. Listen, I'm not a dialed into the bourbon like you guys are, but I would say I make a pretty bang up old fashioned, and I chose to go with the Woodford Reserve. I'm a big Buffalo guy. Some would say I'm affiliated, but the Woodford, in my opinion, it makes the best old fashioned. I just think that it just is untouched. So I also went with it because I've got the bitters and I have the syrup too, but I wanted to go bitters. I wanted to make it as old fashioned as possible, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and because I was telling the wifey too, we've got Blanton cherries here, and she's like, "Why don't you throw the Blantons in there?" And I was like, "Putting Blantons in a Woodford Old Fashioned is like wearing a Nike jumpsuit with Adidas shoes. You can't, right?"
100%. The one
So
thing I really do like about the Woodfords is how they really have hit every part of making an old fashioned, whether if it's the bitters or the syrup or even the cherries. Now, I will say the cherries go bad really quick, but they're real cherries. So let's go ahead and see you crack one open. Is that you got a little stamper there too?
yeah, listen, we're gonna do it big here. I left my syrup, so can I go get the syrup?
Yeah, go
All right.
ahead, grab the syrup. I'll check in with the chat while you figure out how to make a old fashioned. Tommy Cruz in the chat says, "Come on, Shelton, you can do it." Let's see. Old fashioned way says, "I would buy Still Austin bitters too." See, I'm just saying, I'm here for the people with the Still Austin bitters. Little Still Austin.
So I went to just a classic Barsmith simple syrup instead of the Woodford because the Woodford syrup's great, but it's to me it's a bit of a it's
It's
listen,
the
we're
blend.
making old fashions. All right. So we've got the aromatic bitters here from the Woodford. That's what we're going to kick it off with. I'm making two, one for me, one for the wife. So when you see this here, that's how I'm doing it. Now I've been doing this for a long time. The only thing I measure is the alcohol. Everything else is a feel thing. It's all touch. Okay.
I think
So you get a big
with old
squirt.
fashioned, you can't really measure. It's like making cookies, you know.
You got to just know it. It's all got made with love. So I'm a four shooter here. Okay. Because we're making two old fashions. That is just that's your basic kind of bitters that you see at the store. You want to get dicey with it. I've got the spiced cherry bitters. I've got orange in there too. Figure we dice up a cherry tonight. Keep it sexy,
Keep it
and
sexy.
then go ahead. Yeah, you can come take a look at the science experiment that we have going on. We've got the ice.
$4.99 super chat from Arena. Appreciate it. Old fashioned ways, $10 says Happy New Year's. Hope you get the Tanger too. There's no hope. I'm getting it. The question is going to be is like, does a kid get to go to college or you know what I mean? Depending on what price I get it at. But I appreciate the super chat. Happy New Year's. Old fashioned way says keep it sexy for show. That was to you.
Oh yeah. So the syrup again. This is kind of a feel thing. How sweet you want it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, it's just a that's one old fashioned, right? If I was making one, that's all I would do. And then boom, that was a little heavy. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little heavy. So you know what that means? That means we get to go. We just counter it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we are scientists here. Now, here is what's key. So we've got those ingredients. We've got now we go to measure for the that's. Do you get the pop?
Oh, I heard the pop. It was
Okay,
deep.
good.
It was ooh.
So I'm a 2.5 guy, right? So we're gonna go 5 pours here because again we're making two old fashions. Okay, there's two,
Okay.
there's three.
I will say while you're
There's
pouring that, everybody's jigger in a sense.
again, it's a little sweet. Yeah. Now, Ricky knows this. This is the key here. This is what people kind of mess up. You got to get ice, okay, when you're mixing. So we got some ice here. Got a little bit of a splash. Lid sit for a minute. This was learned from our favorite bar, the Sidecar Bar. The only crossover I have is I got this new nice little Buffalo Trace stirrer, and I was like, I cannot not use it. Like I just feel like
Yeah.
why, like whatever. So There we are. We're also going to give another shout out to Four Roses. This is going to be the Wife Cup. We've got Rose Ice from Four Roses, which is pretty sweet. So a little carryover. A little carryover.
You know, a little Buffalo Trace mixer, a little Four Roses Ice. You know, or Woodford's everything else. I will say, when we went to the Sidecar Bar, learned that I can't remember what the glass name is. Is it Collins glass or some kind of glass? Whatever that is. That
Glass is important too. Glass is important too.
A little chill down goes a long way. It also saves your ice, but I don't know what it does. I know it waters it down just a little bit, but there's some kind of like sexy magic.
Basically, it just like so. You know how like you kind of get to the middle of old fashioned after it's sat in the ice for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got a nice smooth taste. You don't get kind of thumped in the dick with that that alcohol, that gasoline flavor. This is doing that already. So first sip should just nut tap you. The one thing I don't have, which I should have, would have been smoker, would have been nice. But stamping your ice is definitely a classy move. We got the American flag here. We're going to go ahead and stamp the top of the ice. And you guys can't see it, so it doesn't matter. We, of course, now have to strain this over our glass here as we get ready to. Oh, he has a smoker. Okay, cool. So I don't know if I can complete loser.
So
pour over. I'll get a point two.
Go ahead. So my old fashioned was fantastic. This Still Austin is like you should get a bottle. I think you would like it a lot.
These are fatties. These are fatties. I may have made 3 old fashions. These are fatties. Those, I'll take that. Yeah, you can have that. That's a fatty.
A little halfy for Tommy.
Yeah, that's a fatty. All right, let's get the cherries in here. One is for the wifey. She was a cherry slut, one would say. So I always spoil her with 2 cherries.
2 cherries. What?
Oh yeah, she's.
Is it a charity?
It's New Year's, and they look. You gotta decorate it. So we drizzle. You can't even see it, the flower. I mean, it's actually a really nice touch. A nice drizzle. Clean off your stirrer here, which is very important. Let me see if I can get this thing a shot here. You guys can see the.
Oh yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, you can see the drizzle. You can see the drizzle. I even went a step further for the show. We got a little orange accent as well. Again, this is just a nice little bar flavor here, or bar.
I will say, I've been looking for those ever since I tried them at your house. They're good. They have a little different dynamic to it, but they are hard to find. Like a Total Wine.
Yeah, wifey got it
often.
And there, my friends, is an old fashioned. Again, no smoke. And you put that, you put all of it. Yeah, she's all came together. So,
you got to have the judge come over and judge it real quick for you.
Oh yeah, quick, give it a quick sip in for the chat. That needs to be good.
Sheldon, hold up the oranges real quick to the camera.
Yeah, sure.
The drizzle on my rose.
Oh yeah, I'll drizzle on your rose.
What is
I'm showing him.
I can't see it.
They're called Collins. Candid orange twist cocktail garnish.
Yeah, Total Wine has them. I know that they're like $7 or something like that. They're not like overly expensive, but they're good, and it brings a little different dynamic. I look at them as like,
wow.
Either you can add it with the cherry or just go straight orange, no cherry.
Right.
That old fashioned though, the only caveat is that looks super sweet. I know you like it sweet, but
it's not sweet? It's a fatty.
That's what I was thinking, because I saw you put a lot of bourbon, so it probably kind of balanced out a lot of the extra syrups.
Yeah, it's nice and smooth. Yeah, that's the move. It's a juice. It's probably still a little bit too sweet. I got a little heavy on the pour.
I mean,
my hands are cold.
Yeah, my hands are cold.
The additional other stuff too.
Yeah, the Woodfords make the banging old fashioned. I personally like the double oaks a little bit more. That's just my profile.
A double oak knocks your nuts off too. That's just a little bit, That's sometimes you can get that can be a little bit snobby. You're taking a pristine bourbon like that. Hey, could you imagine if I would have brought Blands out here made old fashioned? The boys would have been in shambles.
Oh my god, that's what I expect you to do, and I was just waiting for people to come at you. They didn't go at you for bringing like store bought simple syrup. They get pretty reckless over that. Like if you don't make your own, apparently you're supposed to like jump off the building.
Really?
Yeah, they've kind of toned down on that after a while because they don't care about the cocktails as much. anymore, but they'll get pretty feisty over that. They're like, "You didn't make your own? What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "My bad. I'm lazy."
I didn't even know you could do that.
I have some videos coming next year on making simple syrups
Okay.
to calm some people down.
We do. How we do?
I think they're pretty good. I mean, I would drink it, but I also know, like, I've had your old fashions. I think they're pretty good. I think a
You
little
might have
heavy,
put down.
a little heavy on the sweetness, but I think I'm sure it's going to do the job well.
It's pretty. It's got a little kick to her. You hear that?
Thought you lived in a bougie area. Where are you at?
Yeah. You hear the fireworks?
Yeah. I had to open up the window because it's hot in here. So they're firing them off left and right out there.
It's not hot in here.
You're outside by a fire. You look cozy. You look like you're in the mountains.
It's like It's like hit me perfectly on the shoulder right now. It's pretty.
Yeah,
It's pretty nice.
Little glow on the back.
Yeah, I hit it with turnaround hand warm. You know, definitely a vibe. Was hoping I could do my part here for tonight's show. Again, I think you're crushing it. So
We got a handful more awards. Richard Seacrest, I could see him in the green room. He's getting a little dicey, so you might want to watch out for what he does. But the I think he's been phoning in. He wants to get to the next award, so I'll let you get back to your drinking.
no doubt, yes sir.
And,
pleasure. Make sure you boys subscribe. Get this man to 4,000 subs. Happy New Year, Richie Rich. Happy New Year, chat.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Make sure you guys check out High Top when you're free after this stream, like tomorrow. But High Top, I will see you on the other side. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, let's send it over to Richard
Baby.
Seacrest. Peace. No, 100%. This is fantastic. Just make sure when this empties, just go ahead and keep refilling. It's gonna be a long night. Yes. Call me old fashioned. Yes, we are back, and it is time for another award. We're gonna go over the best bottle to make a cocktail with for 2025. Here are your nominees. Nominee number 1 is going to be Sazerac Rye 100 proof, Wild Turkey 101, OGD 114, and of course, Old Number 7 from Jack Daniels. And of course, your winner is Wild Turkey 101.
Whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. 'Cause a memory came out.
You're right, call me old fashioned. It's Old Faithful. Gotta send it to the hometown Wild Turkey, but go ahead, back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Absolutely. So, caveat to that award. I ran out of the Wild Turkey 101. So the B-roll is the 8-year, but I did mean the regular 101 that you can pick up almost everywhere for around 20 to 25 bucks. I'm holding the 8-year still, but that's just because that's the closest one. And I don't have the 101 anymore. I drank it all. The 8-year is good too. I like the 8-year better, just neat. I think the Wild Turkey 101 is great for cocktails. And the reason why that one won over like the Still Austin or Woodford's like High Top was drinking was I think the Wild Turkey is a little bit more versatile when it comes to different cocktails. I can put it in an old fashioned. I can put it in a whiskey sour if I want to. I can put it with fruit juice and whatever the wife wants to drink, and it's still going to be good. It's good with Coke. It's good with ginger ale. It's just overall fairly good. And I think that's just a testament to the Wild Turkey brand itself. Not that the others aren't, but I think for the price of the 101, compared to a lot of the other ones, I think that one's great for cocktails. That's why that one won best bottle to make a cocktail with for 2025. And I'm not like the best cocktail individually. I mean all over. So, but with that being said, we are going to go over the top shelf up there that you probably can't see right now, but it's got a lot of the Wild Turkey brand up there. So we want to go over that real quick. Eric says, I need to try that Sazerac Full Proof. It did win Give the People What They Want award in the beginning of the show. Guys, this show is going to be available to watch after. If you want to see what the other awards were, feel free to rewatch this tomorrow. next year. Dad joke of the night? Whatever. I'm here for the people. Let's go ahead and go over to the second cam here, a little spin for the boys, and let's start going over the top shelf over here. You can see it in this camera angle, actually. So, just to start it off, because it's right here, Wild Turkey 8-year 101 proof. This is fantastic. I did this in a blind with regular 101, the 70th anniversary. Weirdly enough, the 101 won, but I think my palate was a little crazy that night because typically I do like the 70th anniversary better. This is an 8-year age as well, so you'd think they're very similar, but the profiles on them are different. The 8 years is a little bit more caramel forward, where this is a little bit more fruit berry forward. So both of them are fantastic. Again, there's not a Wild Turkey product that I dislike. Unfortunately, I did drink all the Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. That is gone, but I do still have some of the Wild Turkey Rare Breed Barrel Proof, 116.8 proof. Another fantastic bottle, especially when you're starting out and you want to branch into that higher proof stuff. That one is a great bottle to go with. And another one to kind of go with that as well is going to be the Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit. This is a single barrel. I don't remember where I got it from. I've had it for a little while. But again, 101 proof. It's weird how all of these are Wild Turkey, and you couldn't tell me the bottle was the same on any one of these. They all have their own little nuances to it, with still having that Wild Turkey funk on it, which is what you want anyway. So with Wild Turkey, they obviously have the Russell's brand, right? Russell's 10-year, another great budget-ish bottle. A lot of times I can find this on sale, but it's a 10-year age, typically around 30, 35 bucks. 35 bucks for a 10-year age bottle is kind of crazy. Now, the proof's only 90 proof. So when you're starting out, another one that I always recommend when you're first kind of going at it, it's fantastic. This bottle, to be honest, it's kind of oxidized. I've had this for a while. As good as it is, I don't choose this over like Wild Turkey 101 a lot of the times. I don't choose it over a lot of like the more bougier stuff I have. So it just kind of sat and got a little oxidized, but I've had it for like 3 years. So because I bought two or three bottles at one time because I was tearing through it. And that bottle's just been hanging on for dear life. Now, another bottle, not Wild Turkey-ish, right, is a store pick I got at the beginning of this year from Chattanooga Whiskey, straight bourbon whiskey, single barrel. This is a high malt mash, but it's 120 proof. This one was labeled Brown Sugar Monster, and they weren't lying. It is brown sugar vibes through and through, but it is fantastic. For being coming out of Chattanooga, it is very bourbon-esque, right? Even though it's a whiskey, but it's fantastic. I haven't really branched too much into the Chattanooga brand, but I think in 2026, we got to pick up a couple more just to see if that single barrel is just like one of one, or is Chattanooga really doing great things? And, next year we'll judge that. Another one up here on this shelf. Now, just so you guys know, just because it's on the top shelf doesn't mean it's top shelf whiskey in general. All these are great, but I just put the stuff up there based off of like size of bottle and stuff like that. But I do have Green River full proof. This one's 118.1 proof. The reason why I got this is one of the supporters did send me a sample of this, and when I drank it, I was like, this is like Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies, because it has a really profound mint note and a chocolate note, which paired really well together. But this bottle is great. I don't remember the price of this, but for 118 proof, really good stuff. I just put that back, but there's no going back now, so it's going to sit up there. And then I had some High West products. Now, obviously, you guys know High West did send me these two. This is their new Bottled and Bond Rye and Bourbon. I was actually highly impressed because you guys know I'm not a fanboy for High West, but I will say these two were unique. The Bottled and Bond Bourbon Whiskey had a little bit of toasted vibes to it, and then the Rye was fairly unique, and I believe, just from if my memory serves me properly, it was like green apple candy, kind of like, felt like Halloween vibes, but candy green apple on it, which was unique for a rye. Way sweeter than you would expect, but I kind of liked it because it was different than like a traditional rye. Then you have the High West Bourbon. I told them, like I tell you guys, this is good. It's not bad. It's definitely a mixer for me because it's not my favorite neat. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. It just doesn't wow me. And then you have the Midwinter's Night Dram. I have Act 12 Scene 2. It's good. I think it's a little overpriced for what it is, but if you like port finishes, this is a fantastic port finish. But again, like I've said, with the sherry finish, that's just not my vibe for wine finishes. But I will drink this. It is good. It's just not going to be my go-to probably over a lot of things. So there you have it. There's this shelf. This shelf's always been kind of hidden up here. Nobody really ever sees that. They don't really pick from this shelf a lot during live streams either, unless somebody asks for something in particular. But it's a good shelf. You know what I mean? I think it's worth the look at up here. But so far we have gone through the Buffalo Trace shelf, aka Buffalo Trace and Woodford's. Then we went through the New Rift, the Still Austin, and the Four Roses. And then, of course, now we're going over what I call my Wild Turkey shelf. But the Wild Turkey shelf is a good little mix. We still have a lot to go over. Like I said, there's over 120 bottles in my selection here. And we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more shelves and still a handful more awards to go. So I think what we'll do is we'll go over one more shelf, and then we can send it back over to Richard Seacrest and give us another award. So there's no rhyme or rhythm to this bookshelf over here you can't see anyway. I just put stuff in arm's reach as I start to grab it. So the lower on the shelf, the less I'm grabbing it, in a sense. But this one right here is a unique one. And I don't really hype it up too much because nobody will ever get this again, including me. This is a limited edition sample product out of Manifest Whiskey here in Jacksonville, Florida. Is a wheated rye mash bill, right? It was a 101. They made like a half a barrel, bottled up, sold it. It's 85% wheat, 15% rye. They made 205 bottles, 100 proof, 3-year age. Obviously, 3-year age here in Florida does some work. But they were trying to figure out what they wanted their bourbon to be, what they wanted their whiskey and bourbon to really kind of feel like. And this was just one of the samples that they made. This is fantastic. I'm actually going to drink that right now. I'll fucking talk myself into it. I'm going to use the Mini Glen because I really want to just savor this bottle as long as I can until their bourbon really comes out, because I want to compare this to their bourbon. And we probably have another year before that happens. They do some sourcing. Manifest Whiskey does sourcing from like Seal Box and stuff like that. But their stuff's aging now. When we did the tour last year, and I'll be doing another tour, which a video will be coming here towards the end of January with Manifest. Their stuff's aging now. It was aging then. So I'll be excited to see if we can get little samples of it. But they do some cool stuff there. So I'm pumped for them. I like their brand. It's not better than St. Augustine's, respectfully, but St. Augustine's got their shit together. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I wish it was a little bit higher proof, but it's sweet, a little grain forward. Speaking of kind of grain and craft, we do have the Southern Star Paragon Wheated. This one is, they're bottled in bond, so obviously 100 proof. This is out of North Carolina. It's pretty good. I got that off of a whim because I wanted something local to North Carolina because I used to go there quite often. My brother lives there. So I wanted something from that state. And I didn't even know they made anything until I just randomly went to a liquor store and they just happened to have it. So I got it. I don't drink it a lot, mainly because I got to be in the mood for wheated. But that one's a good one. Obviously, you got to have Elijah Craig on your shelf, right? Small batch, doesn't have to be anything fancy. Great for cocktails. I typically re-up during the holidays. I didn't this year, but that one, I think that's just a staple on a lot of people's bars. Now, this one, Four Roses, single barrel strength. This one is, what is this one actually? It is a OESF, 11 years, 3-month age, fantastic bottle. Again, kind of the same thing. I'm hanging on for dear life on this bottle just because, like, one, Four Roses have been going up in price for their single barrels. A little pricey for me, but man, are they good. Another one that's really, I didn't do this award, but if I would have done one where I've done blinds and find one that really surprises me, and it would be this one. It's the Larceny barrel proof A124. No joke, the wife poured me this one night, and I thought it was E.H. Taylor barrel proof. Not saying that's what it tastes like, but I was like, this got some red fruit notes. I had a couple pours. But it was good. Way better than I give it credit for sure. Because a lot of times she'll come in here, grab a random bottle off these shelves, pour it, and then I just kind of guess it. And I'll go through notes, kind of like practice, right? Not talking game, we're talking practice. But that bottle does surprise me quite often. Next up, Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. Another one, I think it's just a staple in a lot of people's bars. I think that one's just a great bottled and bond. I love it in old fashions. But speaking of Heaven Hill grain to glass. A lot of people don't care for this one. I like this one a lot. It's 123.2 proof. This is their 2024 edition. I hear 2025 is just sitting on shelves. Like, nobody's buying it. I don't know if they just overproduced the rye, but the wheat is what everybody wants. It's just because I've never even found the wheated one. But the rye is always everywhere I go. Another one, probably the most controversial bottle I own, is the Oak Bowery 1, the Bruzel's first limited edition bottle. I like it. I know a lot of people just want to hate on the bottle itself. I don't care who made it. It's still a good bottle. I understand it's a blend of like Old Dominic and a bunch of random stuff, but it's good. It has a couple notes that I really like, which is a red fruit kind of gushers, and it also has a little chocolate note. It's got a little bit of spice. It has a lot of things that I personally like in a bottle, so that's why I liked it so much. But you guys probably, most people have seen that video that I've made. It got a shit ton of views strategically. But if you can't buy that bottle anymore, but I think he came out with a second one. I didn't get that if he's already released it, but I would buy it again. I don't think it would be the same though. So that's why I really wanted that one as a one of one in a sense, or one of however many he made. Next up though is going to be 13th Colony Southern Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This one is their 95 proofer. This is good, but this is like a unique thing, right? This is like brand new leather shoe vibes, and in like a good way though, right? When it comes to that bottle, you got to be in the mood for it, is the way I would describe that. But 13th Colony really is making some pretty good stuff, including their double oak, their maple spiral or whatever it's called is now a shelf product. So they're moving in the right direction. So I'm happy with what they're doing. Check the chat real quick. Eric says, need to try this out. All right, got that. Love the malt notes on the Chattanooga. So it's high malt mash on the Chattanooga stuff. Bro, it's fantastic. A little chocolate, a little brown sugar. It's got good vibes on the one that I had, but mine was single barrel. That's why I was saying, like, I think I want to get into a couple more of the bottles just to see if it's just a one-off or if it really is, oh, they just like that, you know? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, we are doing our third annual Call Me Old Fashioned Bourbon Whiskey Awards, where we go through my entire collection. I go over some of the best bourbon, best ryes, best whatever awards for 2025, and even the worst whiskey that I've had for 2025. And then, of course, the one that most people are here waiting for is the best mod for 2025. That one's going to be closer to the end. You never know when it's going to. It could be happening right now, you know what I mean? So stick around. Let me know what you guys are sipping on. It's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's. We're an hour and 49 minutes away from the ball dropping. So if you got anything you guys want to say this year, let me know, because we ain't bringing that bullshit into 2026. Let me see real quick, because my phone was going off like crazy. Dun, dun, dun. So we still have a lot of the collection to go over. But we also got some cocktails. We got some stuff to do. But let me know what you guys are sipping on tonight, whether it's cocktails, whether it's neat. If you got a special bottle you're breaking out for New Year's, I'm drinking a little bit of everything tonight. So let's go ahead. I hear Richard Seacrest in my ear. He's saying it's time for another award. So let's send it over to him and see what award he has now. Yes, thank you, Call Me Old Fashioned. I do look handsome in this. I appreciate the comments. I'm pretty sure I heard you say that. But let's go ahead and dive into another award. We have the best rye whiskey of the year. Here are your nominees. Nominee number 1 is going to be Still Austin Cask Strength Rye. Next up, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye. Sazerac 125 proof. Obviously the full proof, the brand new one. And then of course you have coming in last year is going to be Redwood Empire Rocket Top Rye. And your winner is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye.
Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jack Daniels got a history. There's a party downtown near Fifth Street.
You're right, Call Me Old Fashioned. That one is a banger. Also my favorite as well. You can't beat the Jack Daniel's Rye. But let's go ahead and send it back to you to wrap up the collection. And of course, maybe we have a special guest coming in here in a few minutes. Double shot of whiskey. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Best rye whiskey for 2025. There was, I'd say it's a competition. And it really wasn't until the last couple months. That Sazerac Rye full proof really does give the Jack Daniel's a run for its money. But it's just not, you know what I mean? It's not the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye. Now this one in particular, I did get for Christmas. This was a single barrel from Total Wine. It's 129 proof rather than the ones that I've had in the past, which is 133, 134. You know, I've had a couple of the 130s. I really haven't had one of the 129s or 120s, I'd say. But it's just as good. It doesn't skip a beat, which also gives me a little sigh of relief that I don't have to just wait till I find the ones above 130, because that's what I was doing. And the reason why this bottle in particular one is mainly because I think I've gone through 4 bottles of this, and I got this on Christmas, and this is gonna be gone before the end of the night. You know what I mean? But I will say the way I drink it is not the way I recommend you to drink it. I do recommend it, but it's not the best way. I do love it neat. Do not get me wrong. Love this bottle neat, but I do love a good whiskey ginger. A little whiskey, little Fever Tree ginger ale. This thing is just the perfect combo. But I like my whiskey gingers spicy. You know what I mean? So this is how I drink it typically. And a lot of people can give me shit for it because that's an expensive-ish bottle. It's like 70-ish bucks. Now, I've seen them on sale lately, right? 55, 60 bucks. Those are an automatic buy if I see it at that price. So it's great bottle. Probably my go-to this year has been this one. That's why it won. But I will say it's not the best pour of the year, which that award I believe is coming up next. Let's get back to the chat. Peter White says, has Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye ever lost one of these? I'm not sure. I will say, it does come down to preference. The Sazerac Rye Full Proof, it's not 50-50, but it's like a 45, 55 type of thing. I love that Sazerac Rye Full Proof. The Jack Daniel's just feels a little nostalgic, and I think that's why a lot of people will win that one, right? It's got the best of the new world and the best of the old world when it comes to nostalgic from the Jack Daniel's, but all the right notes when it comes to the rye stuff. Juan says, Happy New Year's, Call Me Old Fashioned, and family. Hope everyone is enjoying their night so far. Juan, we're having one hell of a night. We're going through the entire collection plus the awards. Everybody congratulate Juan on the marriage. He just got married not too long ago. I think it's the first time he's been here since, but welcome to the stream, baby. Calipil says, I like to mix mine with a little Fireball. That's crazy. Teresa says, woo woo, glad it's a good one. Teresa's the one that bought me this bottle, by the way, boys. They wrapped it and they go, you're never going to guess what this is. I literally just grab it and I go, Jack Daniel's. I know what this bottle is. Not a doubt. Never a doubt. I could pick this out of a blind just by touch. But they also have, if you find a Jack Daniel's with this square body, let me just pull it over real quick. This is old number 7. I don't have the settings set up for this, but over here. Old number 7's tall, rectangle, right? But the square Jack Daniel's, these are money. really doesn't matter which ones you find. They're all great. The single barrel proof ones are the tippity top. I'll take this over the Jack 10. A lot of people ask me, like, do you want this over the Jack 10? I would. But it's just by drinking preference. I love the Jack 10. The one we're looking for next year is going to be the Tenured Hill Rye. Don't know if we're going to find one, or I have to like give up the kids' college fund to find one, but eventually. Christian says, congrats, Juan. Been looking forward to this stream for a few weeks. Christian, you've been missing it, bud. But glad to see you back. Richard Seacrest is one hell of a host. If you guys haven't seen him, drop a like for Richard Seacrest because he's been crushing it. How many more awards do we have? Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3 more awards. One of them being, I don't remember, to be honest, so we'll just have to wait and see. I'll be a surprise with you. But because we're also going through the collection, I think it's time we pick another shelf. Little spin cam. Let's go over the other top shelf, right? Just to get out of the way because it's a lot of reaching, right? So let's start off with this one. This is one that I really haven't drank, and the reason why is I broke the cork. I broke the cork right after I said I've never broken a cork, so I just haven't really ventured to get it out. But I've tried it, it's good. But it is Pursuit United, just their small batch bourbon, 108 proof. It was good, didn't blow my socks off, but I also bought this thinking it was the double oak. With it not being the double oak, really just kind of put a damper on my party, and maybe that's why I just didn't care for it. Next up, going to be the Angel's Envy Triple Oak. This bottle came out super hyped and then fell off. And the reason why is because a lot of people didn't care for that much oak. I personally like it, but I love oak in the bourbons because double oak's typically like one of my favorite bourbons in general. Next up on the shelf, again, no kind of rhyme or reason on this shelf, but Ben Holiday Soft Red Wheat 6-year age, bottled in bond. Fantastic bottle. Love this one around the holidays. It's a good core piece during the holidays because it's got a little red truck, right? That's my wife talking, by the way, just so you know. But it's a cool bottle. It's great. It's really great weeded as well at 100 proof. Next up, we got a couple Bardstowns, right? Now, the Bardstowns, they're all fantastic, but I will say, as good as they are, I don't grab them that often, which is crazy. So, but I do have the Bardstown weeded, right? I believe this one won the blind for the weeded, if I'm not mistaken, and that's before I had the old fits. But 106 proof weeded. Then I have the new one, which is the Bardstown Bourbon Company Double Barrel Discovery Series number 13, which is basically like their double oak. This one is fantastic. Way overpriced, but fantastic. So if you're a Bardstown fan, that one is one you should pick up. It's 110.8 proof. Kind of a perfect proof point for double oaks, but to each his own. This one, my favorite Bardstown I've ever owned. To be honest, I'm sure this is oxidized, just being transparent with you guys. I can't get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, this is the first single barrel I think I've ever owned. And this is a pick from Shores whiskey. It's 126.8 proof, single barrel, 6-year age. Fantastic bottle. I haven't got rid of it just because, like, that was like one of the bottles that really sent me on a mission picking single barrels. Because before that, I was like, oh, who cares? Like, just buy the regular stuff, right? You don't know until you know. That was the bottle that helped me know, basically. Then I have the never-ending Bardstown Rye. This is just like the most comical bottle on the channel. If JC, the Rye guy, comes in here, I'll let you know. Like, we've drank this bottle a million times. Like 2 million times. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, so many. The bottle never goes away. And you guys watch me pour it. I'm not like just baby pouring it. It just doesn't die. But it's good rye. It's not my favorite anymore, but it was at one point. 96 proof, really kind of a good bottle to help you get into ryes if you're more of a bourbon drinker. Another great bottle here is Michter's Small Batch. I think this is just one of those bottles where it's a good staple to keep on your shelf, right? Kind of with that as well, one of the other bottles I have is the Nom Creek 9-year. personally, I like this bottle, but I don't. What I mean by that is it's one of the ones I had early on in my bourbon journey, and it's good, but it just doesn't hit it for me anymore, right? But it's good. Like, I can't knock it, but it just doesn't hit the spot anymore. One that does, though, is going to be this Japanese whiskey, which is Hibiki. This is from the Suntory Whiskey Japanese Harmony. It's 86 proof, right? But if you came in this room and said, hey, give me one whiskey that's going to stand out from everything else in this room, give me something totally different, I'd tell you this one. And the reason being is I can pick out a bourbon, but it's still going to feel like bourbon. I can pick out a rye, it's still going to feel like the other ryes to an extent. This one is super light, pillowy almost. Floral and citrus vibes, light. It's super easy to drink, but it makes a fantastic Japanese smoked old fashioned with cherry wood. It's also one of the bottles that me and the wife used to get on our date nights. We used to go to P.F. Chang's a lot. I would pay for the extra, more expensive whiskey, and that's what they would have. Fantastic bottle. But that bottle is $100. It's pricey for what it is. Suntory, though, and Hibiki in general, when you go above that bottle, you start breaking into some serious money. Next up, though, is going to be my 4th of July bottle, which is Smoke Wagon. I'm not going to say this is super great. I love the label on it. That's why I have it. I drink it around 4th of July because who doesn't like drinking a bottle with American flag, bald eagle, and some revolvers on 4th of July? You know what I mean? But the bottle, the juice on the inside is so-so at best. You know what I mean? It's got 2 notes. It's got caramel, it's got vanilla, but beyond that, doesn't really have much to it. Let me check the chat real quick because I see it kind of moving. Christian says, tried that triple oak while I was getting over a cold, so I didn't give it a fair shake. I'd like to try it again. I definitely think, like, give it a fair shake. I personally like it. It's just not everybody's cup of tea, right? Juan says, Christian, thanks, brother. I'm still out in Peru right now, headed to the square to go see all. Hell yeah. Juan, get us some souvenirs, bud. Bring us back something. You know what I mean? I'm kidding. Congratulations. Enjoy your honeymoon. He says, watch all the festivities. I've never even thought about leaving the country during New Year's, but I bet you that is pretty cool. So that's it for that shelf. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Let's check in real quick here with old Richard Seacrest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he's getting lonely over there. So I'm gonna leave the Jack here for now because I love this bottle so much. But you are ready. All right, Richard Seacrest is ready. Let's send it over to him for the next award. Yes, it is time for another award, and we went over the best rye whiskey of the year. Let's go ahead and go over the worst whiskey of the year. Some people call this the toilet bowl award, but that's what I hear on the streets. So let's go ahead and dive into the nominees for the worst whiskey of the year. Starting off with number 1, we have Malort. Nobody likes this. I've never heard anybody say anything good except for people that live in Chicago. Next up is going to be the reigning defending champ of this award, which is going to be the Whistle Pig Piggyback F1 Alfa Romeo, finishing the G-Force. Call me old-fashioned. I know you don't like this one. Next up, got a new runner for this, which is going to be the Castle and Key Wheated. And of course, a lot of people's bottoms. Travelers Whiskey out of Buffalo Trace, the Canadian. Nobody cares for it, but let's go ahead and figure out who the winner is going to be. And it is going to be Malort.
Whiskey, whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. 'Cause a memory came out to play.
Call me old-fashioned, back to you. Guys, I gotta talk to you about this bottle. I wish I would have saved it. I wish I would have saved it for the stream. I didn't. So let's talk about it. I'm not drinking this tonight, by the way. Somebody would have to super chat something fucking crazy for me to drink this. And let me tell you why. So, Thanksgiving, my brother came into town. First time I've seen him in a while. And I'm letting him try everything, right? We tried Russell's 15, 13th Colony, Double Oak. We tried a bunch of the Penelopes. We're like literally so much. And he didn't like a lot of it, by the way. He's not a fan of high proof. But I told him about this one. This is apparently like one of the worst whiskeys ever. And he's like, it can't be that bad. I said, okay. So we got pretty hammered, to say the least, right? So after dinner and we're watching football, it's during the late game. I don't know what we were betting on. I think we were betting on how fast his phone would charge. I was like, in 15 minutes, it'll get to 20% or whatever. And I don't remember what they had to do, but what I had to do if I lost was to take basically a pour or a shot of this. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. Fuck it. Let's do it. I didn't even come close to winning the bet, by the way. Bad line, basically. A really bad line. So I took this. Now let me paint the scene. I'm standing in the kitchen. We got a couple things on the counter. We got the wife's jalapeno hot ones vodka sitting here. We have like water. We have some dirty dishes, right, from Thanksgiving. And then we have this bottle. I pour up a little pour. I just kind of toss it back, right? But I did want to taste it because I'm like, I want to know if it's shit. And at first I was like, it's sweet. And then it hits you with burnt tire, cigarette ashtray, cigarette butts and ashtrays, and like BO. It is horrendous. Bro, I'm about to throw up just talking about it. And so I took a sip and I was like, it's going to die off just like most whiskey. It dissipates and it's gone. And it didn't. So I was like, you know what? I hate vodka, but I'm chasing it with that Hot Ones vodka. Jalapeno vodka, I chased it with that. That just try and kill the taste. No joke. I drank other stuff that night. Drank cocktails, old fashions, whatever. Kool-Aid, everything. I still woke up with the worst taste in my mouth that I think I've ever woke up with. Do you think bad breath would be bad to wake up with? Like a little morning breath? Waking up after drinking Malort is like just drinking out of the toilet. It is horrendous. I like sweating it out the next day was miserable. It's just overall was the worst thing I think I've ever drank. Now, I'm sorry if you guys like this bottle, but overall just not a good one. Not a good one. But go try it for yourself. It's cheap. You know what I mean? Cheap bottle. But since we're on the topic of like what's the worst whiskeys, what's the bottom shelves, what's the things I'm not going to drink again, I have a bottom shelf over here. I'm not going to say like all of them are extremely bad, but it's the ones that I really don't touch. I was going to give away a lot of these to my brother because he doesn't care. Not the Malort. I wasn't going to give him that. I'm not that reckless. But a lot of this other stuff I just won't drink, right? That's on this bottom shelf. So let's go over that now. And bro, I just keep thinking about it, and it's like I might fucking puke on a live stream. That'd be crazy. People be like, "You're drunk." I'm like, "No, I'm just disgusted." Real quick, Christian says, "Bro, actually about the yak, just thinking about Malort. Damn, bro, you're not lying. My eyes are watering." Let's go over this bottom shelf down here real quick. We got to swim over to the swing can. Now, the first one over here, it's kind of cool. It has a little cool story. So I made a video about this one, and I didn't like it, but I did feel like it had a place in the whiskey community in general. Maybe not with like the bourbon nerds, but as like a gift giving or, you know, like a cool like talking piece. And that is going to be Travelers. Now, I don't like what's on the inside. That's just apparent. And that's coming from like a whiskey nerd though. But a lot of people that I know that don't care as much as I would care about whiskey, they like it. They like that it's approachable and sweet and stuff like that. So I made the video and I kind of named off the good points as well, not just the bad. And Buffalo Trace ended up saying, "Hey, thanks for the review," and sent me a signed bottle by Harlan Wheatley, which is their master distiller. So I've never opened this bottle. Maybe it's better than the one I have, but never going to know. I'm just going to keep this as a little collector's thing that they sent me. They also sent me a note, you know, from Harlan Wheatley himself. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was the first like PR package I think I got. And from it being Buffalo Trace, I thought that was really cool. So Sticking on that Buffalo Trace style, I do have a bottle of the White Dog Mash Bill #1. I was gonna do crazy shit with that, but I ended up drinking it in the mixed drink and just it wasn't good. Don't do that. Age it in something if you want to drink that. That's what it's for. And then of course, Caribou Crossing single barrel. This is like Buffalo Trace's Canadian whiskey. It's supposed to be like their good one. I see some people saying they like this. I just don't like it, and I think that's because I don't like Canadian whiskey much. But that is what it is. Now, I also have another bottle of Travelers that I'm not going to bring up. And then, of course, I do have a bottle of Evan Williams Bottle & Bond. Now, this is on the bottom shelf just because I don't drink it anymore. I used to a lot. It's not bad. It's more of a mixer type of thing for me now, but I just don't go to it. Benchmark Full Proof's my go-to budget, cocktail mixer. If I want a budget old-fashioned, I'm going OGD 114. So, like, Evan Williams just kind of lost its place, like, on my shelf, but I still own one. Maybe it'll make a resurrection one day. It's just not today. And of course, one of the runners for worst whiskey of the year was Castle and Key, Wheated. This one is 105.6 proof. Two folds. I go to this liquor store a lot. They never recommend me anything. You know what I mean? They're never out there trying to sell stuff. But this lady really gave it her all, being like, I want to find a bottle you don't own and I think you would like. And she picked this one. And a lot of like the Discord also said like, hey, like I think that bottle is going to be pretty good. Like, get it. And I got it and it was horrible. Didn't like it at all. It kind of very chemically, I just don't know who would like this bottle, but I'm sure somebody would. It's just not me. So when I say I dislike something, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to like it. It just doesn't fit with my profile and what I personally like. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuned in, drop a like. We are going over the awards. We're going over my entire collection as well. So buckle up. Happy New Year's. I'm getting a little long-winded on some of these bottles. I'm getting tired. But we got a couple more down here. We have this one. I hate this bottle. I'd give it back to back, but I didn't want to do that. Malort is worse. This is at least drinkable to an extent. Not by me, but by a lot of people want this bottle. God, crazy. But it is the Whistle Pig Piggyback Single Barrel Alpha Romeo F1 version, finished in the gimmicky G-Force tunnels for like 5 minutes. It is a rye whiskey with lychee and oolong tea barrel finish, coming in at 96.77 proof. If you like weird fruit that isn't sweet and unsweetened tea, this bottle is for you. Yeah, it'd be perfect for you, to be honest. It just doesn't have enough rye spice. It just doesn't have enough of anything. It just feels like a weird, blandy, old, outdated, unsweet tea with some weird notes in it. Not for me. I like my sweet tea with a side of diabetes. You know what I mean? Another one that's not bad. This is just on the bottom shelf because I don't really drink it anymore, but it is Clyde's Made 5-year age single barrel 102 proof. This was a pick from Total Wine. It was good. It just isn't like blow your mind good or anything like that. It's drinkable, but when you have a selection this big, like you really there's just some bottles that just kind of get pushed to the wayside. That just happens to be one of them. Another one as well that I used to like a lot is this Bank Street Bourbon Whiskey. Now this is like a Total Wine brand thing. It's a 5-year age, 80 proof bottle. I used to make it in cocktails for like a Jack and Coke style type thing. But they used to be like on sale all the time for like $20, $25. And then they jacked up for like a $45 bottle. And I go, who's paying $45 for an 80 proof store brand, right? Not like a name brand, but like a great value style whiskey. Not me. That's not what we're doing here. The other one I have down here, which is basically gone at this point, people have been drinking this one, is the Crown Royal 18-year Extra Rare. For Crown Royal stuff, it's really not bad, but that's like for Crown Royal. Let me put a couple of these back. Now, I have a couple things I'm not going to bring up. I'm just going to talk about. I have a couple samples that were sent to me by Limestone Farms, I think it is. That's what it's called, Limestone Farms. I got a couple of their stuff, like Bloodlines, and like all of that stuff was good, but they're just samples. And then I have a couple pre-mixed old-fashioned stuff, like 1792, Mission, Bullet, and those are all pretty good, but they're not bourbon bottles or whiskey, so I'm not really bringing them up. Let's switch it over to the other cam real quick. So they're on the bottom shelf. There's some good stuff, just not respectfully, not good enough to compete with everything else that I own. That's why it's down there, and it kind of just collects dust. Eventually, people will come over, and then I'll give it to them. Just like when my brother came over, I gave him like 20, almost 20 bottles. He didn't want everything. I tried to give him a lot. I'll try to give him like half my collection. He's like, I'm never going to drink this either. Like, don't give it to me. Raging Cajun says, Travelers was an expensive mixer for me. Tried it neat, didn't work. No. So that's why I said, like, it's not for the bourbon nerds. Like, that's like something you give somebody that's like, likes to have a bar, but their bar wouldn't be whiskey bar. It'd be like they have some rum and some vodka and some gin and they have some whiskey and they have a little bit of mix of everything. Having like a Travelers on a shelf like that would be good, right? Because you could pull it out and be like, this is Chris Stapleton's whiskey. It's Canadian whiskey. Like, nobody would care in that scenario. And that's who it is for, in my opinion. Now, one of the reasons why Travelers was not like in like the top 2 for worst whiskeys this year, because it really is not that great, is I also think they're trying, or at least going to attempt to redeem themselves this coming March, and they're releasing a foolproof version, kind of like the Sazerac Rye foolproof at 125 Travelers. I'm curious to see how they do the blend, because are they going to lean a little bit more bourbon and whiskey style, or are they still going to lean more into that Canadian whiskey style? I'm going to say I'm going to buy one just to try it, because I'll be the guinea pig. Save your money. Wait till you see my review. Because, you know, I'll rip it apart if it sucks. If it's a really crappy high proof bottle, I would say if it's priced right, it could be a good mixer. Because 125 proof in any capacity could be a decent mixer. But I'm hoping that this bottle is going to be meant for the other category other than like a gift giving and people that don't care. I hope this one is more meant for the whiskey nerds, because I feel like they do need to redeem themselves in that capacity. But other than that, I'm done ranting about it. Let's see. So we've gone over quite a bit. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 shelves left. And I think it's time to go over the best pour of the year. I think that's what I'm getting word on here from Richard Seacrest. Let's send it over to him. He's going to go over the best bottle / pour of the year. Richard, take it away. All right, we are getting close to the end of the night, and we do have one of the best awards for the year, which is going to be the best bourbon pour of the year for 2025. Let's go through the nominees. Nominee number 1 is going to be the Russell's 15 2024 edition. Still Austin Tanager Cigar Blend First Edition. Woodford's Reserve Chocolate Whisper Redux. That is the highest proof they've ever released out of that distillery. And then the 13th Colony Double Oak. All great pours. There only could be one winner. Let's get the winner. It's gonna be the Russell's 15.
Whiskey, whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day.
You're right, all those pours are fantastic. Hard to pick a winner, but I think Russell's 15 here just took the win. So, back to you, Call Me Old Fashioned. Appreciate it, Richard Seacrest. Yes, absolutely. It did just take the win. Russell's 15 is the one that everybody kept asking me, like, what's your favorite pour? What's the best bottle? What's whatever, right? And it really came down to those 4. Between this one, the Still Austin Tanager, the 13th Colony Double Oak, and the one that most people didn't realize that was in the running for me was the Woodford's Chocolate Whisper Redux. That higher proof, I'm a big kind of like fanboy of Woodford's in general, but that one just like, I love chocolate notes in whiskey. It just hit the right spots. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when I drank the other ones, they're great. They're great pours. There's nothing on that list that I would say you wouldn't want. But the Russell's 15 really did stand out. Now, a lot of people ask me about how I would do this award because this bottle is the 2024, not the 2025. I don't base my awards off of what came out this year. I base off of what I either got this year or what's been in my collection for this year. So that way it could be a realistic award based off what I've been drinking, not something I just bought 10 seconds ago, right? The Russell's 15 was the most unique. I felt like the proof was perfect at the 117, right? It's 117? Yeah, 117.2 proof. The red fruit note, that the fruit roll-up style, red candy note on it was great. It really just is that bottle that I think when you look at allocated bottles, this is what you want. What funny story about this one, I actually passed on it when it first came out because I didn't want to spend $200. I was like, yeah, no, I'll find it eventually. Didn't realize how extremely hyped up this one was going to get. And hype aside, like the people that claimed this was their whiskey of the year last year, they were right. You know what I mean? That just is what it is. They are 100% spot on. Like it is just that good. Unfortunately, this bottle is about halfway, which means this isn't going to be here next year. It's going to be drank. Because this isn't one of those bottles you let oxidize. You enjoy it while you have it, but you finish it, and it could just be this really cool memory of what you once had. You don't, like all the other ones I've kind of kept, and I say, hey, this is oxidized. I kept those for sentimental reasons. This one, sentimental as it's going to be, doesn't matter. It's going to be drank. So this one did win Best Pour of the Year. I didn't want to say Best Bottle because really that Jack Daniels, like if you really nailed it down, probably is the best bottle for me this year. But the best pour that I've had this year is old Russell's 15. So let me know in the chat, what is the best pour or the best bottle, in a sense, for you this year for 2025? Comment down below. Let me know. Let me hear you saying, da, na, 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 na. Sorry. What? But with that being said, let's move on to the shelf that has all my kind of quote-unquote allocated stuff. It's not really allocated, just the shelf I kind of go to a lot. So real quick, I'm going to run a quick train. I'm just going to leave it. Let's leave that for a second. I have to swap out my batteries because this is our first time live streaming, apparently. But you guys seen that episode of How I Met Your Mother where they say like a million times? That's what I was just thinking of. There we go. All right, so let's swap this. And obviously, just to start off with a close-up here, Russell's 15 2024 limited edition, 117.2 proof. Just really is a fantastic bottle. Kind of right beside it as well is going to be the Russell's 13. This is barrel proof. This one is the highest release proof-wise for Russell Reserve, which is coming in at 123.8 proof. This is spring of 2025. Everybody thought it was going to be like that Russell's 15 for some reason. I don't know why, because 13's never been like 15. But this 13 was very dessert-esque, right? A lot of those traditional bourbon notes with vanilla, caramel, and cinnamon just done in a really good way. But it just leans more desserty, where that one leans more fruit forward. So obviously, one of the runners is 13th Colony Double Oak. Now, this one could have won, but to be honest, what I would say is like, I have to be in the mood for a good double oak. This one's unique. One of the most unique pours that I have in my collection. But like, would I want this over Russell's 15 every day? No. It is great. It's fantastic. Really great freaking pour. It just isn't what you would go to every single day. But proof, fantastic. 133.74 proof. Really great bottle though. On top of that, we do have the Jack 10. I don't have the 12. This is 97 proof. This is also batch 3. It's a great bottle. I love Jack Daniels. I think this year alone, like I've probably tore through more Jack Daniels than anything. And that's not typical for me. Like typically I'm trying to like branch out and grab craft whiskey and stuff like that. But I've been really just humming on some Jack Daniels stuff. Speaking of Jack Daniels, the new shelf for product this year, the Jack Daniels Heritage Single Barrel, 100 proof, toasted barrel, fantastic. I will say Jack Daniels Single Barrel Barrel Proof Rye or the whiskey are like tippity top for me. Then the Jack 10, then it would go to this. Like this is really good. I like this bottle a lot. It did win a blind too, the double oak blind. It won, strangely, because it's not even double oak; it's toasted. But it did win. I didn't see that coming, but it won. But I wouldn't. It's not like my favorite Jack, and I think a part of it is it doesn't feel that nostalgic feeling that most Jacks have. Like it's there, it's faint compared to the other ones. Then obviously, I have a Jack Old Number 7, right? Old Number 7 is like, I think if you're a whiskey nerd in general, you want to have an Old Number 7 on your shelf for whatever reason. On top of that, Jack Daniels Bonded Rye. Now, a lot of you guys told me this is what you recommend this one. And I will say it's good, but I will say I probably won't buy another one. Like it was good. I liked it. It just wasn't, it was a little sweeter, right? A little different profile from the rye that you'd think of, you know? But it is good. I say try it. It's not high price. I like the triple mash better. Triple mash is a banger bottle. I'm out of it, so I can't really pull it up to show you. But next up on the shelf, Frey Ranch Farm Strength Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Farm Strength Uncut. It's 123.88 proof. I love this bottle in general. It was almost one of the winners for Best Craft Whiskey of the Year, but still Austin's got that dog in them. But I like how Frey Ranch really gives you a ton of information. They give you a breakdown of the company. They give you all the details. They give you the longitude and latitude of where it's being grown in Nevada. It gives you the mash bill and the batch and all that stuff. But then it also gives you a really cool breakdown of the mash bill on the back. The mash bill on this one is 66.6% dent corn, 10% winter wheat, 11.4% winter rye, 12% two-row malted barley, malted on site. I loved how detailed that was. And that's what whiskey nerds like in general, is just the details of it. Somebody just disliked the stream. I appreciate that. All loves love in general, so you ain't hurt my feelings, buddy. Next up, Little Book, Chapter 9, None for Granted, right? Chapter 9? Let me see. Yeah, Chapter 9, None for Granted. This one is good, but it's a little overpriced, right? It is very much like, the way I've been describing it is like, it's a really good basic bourbon. It's vanilla, it's caramel, it's cinnamon. It's sweet and spicy at the same time, but it's not like overly complex. It just gives you really good 3 notes in probably the best way that I've seen it done. But for like $150, like, is that all you really want? The proof on it was fantastic too. The proof on it, what was it? 121.8 proof. Like, that's good. I love all that. But for $150, like I just expected a little bit more. So None for Granted, I won't buy another one of the Chapter 9, but I think it did enough for me to say I want to explore the Little Book chapters a little bit more, or a little book, but just not anytime soon. Maybe like mid next year, I'd pick up a different one. But I also think I'd probably wait to see if anybody else said it was good. It's a heavy price tag. You know what I mean? So let's go over one more shelf real quick. All right, next shelf. We have 2 short barrel products. Both of these are sweet and kind of have to be right time, right place. So I have the short barrel Bee's Knees single barrel double toasted barrel 111 proof. Now both of these are going to be store picks, both of them from Golden Ox Liquor. They're good, right? And I think these are 2 of the best honey and maple finish bottles. A little pricey, and they're just still pretty sweet. This one is the short barrel Sap Squatch single barrel series. It's finished in maple syrup and toasted barrels at 118 proof. Again, it's good. To like this one, you gotta really like maple syrup. To like the other one, you gotta really like honey. And it's just when you go to those bottles, like you're like a half a pour and done. Like half ounce at a time really is all I can do because it just is super duper sweet. Now another one. A lot of people like this. I almost gave it away, but I felt like maybe I'll like it eventually. It's 1792 foolproof, right? It's 125 proof, decently priced, right? The only issue I have with 1792 is every time I drink it, it doesn't matter which one. It could be small batch, bottled and bond. It could be the Kirkland's, not even 1792, just aged by or made by Barton, which is obviously 1792 bottled and bond. It's just, it dries my palate out to the point where I'm thirsty. I don't want to drink something and be thirsty. You know what I mean? It's a weird dynamic there. But that bottle is, it's pretty good. So definitely recommend that one. Next up, Hard Truth, Sweet Mash, Wheated Bourbon, Bottled and Bond. This one was a gift from Cody, the professor over at High Top Sports. It's 100 proof. This is obviously from Indiana, and that's where he's from, I believe. So, again, great bottle. It's got a lot of sweet and chocolate-ish notes. So, for a wheated, it's really good. Next up, Jim Beam Winter Reserve. It says Winter Reserve. I always have this issue with this bottle. It's notes of vanilla and cinnamon. It says Winter Reserve, but it looks like a fall. It's got notes of fall. Little vanilla cinnamon candle during fall sounds good. Like a peppermint during winter sounds like winter. So to me, this is a fall reserve, but I kept it. It's still pretty good. Yeah, I just don't expect much from it, but it's not overly priced, so I'm okay with it. Next up, one of the best budget bottles going to be OGD 114. Obviously, if you know Old Granddad, 114's kind of the bottle to get. Now, another new Old Granddad is Old Granddad 7-year. This is the new one, the bottled and bond, 100 proof. It's kind of like revamping their original Old Granddad, but obviously being a 7-year age. I like this one. I don't like it better than the 114. I do think it's different slightly, but the proof on the 114 is fantastic. I feel like when you're looking at a budget bottle, that one, it's just, you go with that. Next up, which I believe they stopped selling, is the Bullet Rye 12-year. This one was probably one of the bottles that got me into ryes. It is very bourbon friendly, but at the same time still had a lot of rye spice, which really just did a good job of, you know? So, let's see. Chris in the chat says, first time here, really enjoying the live. Appreciate it. This is our third annual Call Me Old Fashioned Bourbon Whiskey Awards, where we go through best whiskey, best rye, best whatever. Most of the awards are done. I believe we have about one more, but we also go through my entire collection. It is worth a rewatch if you're just now tuning in. It's a good time. So far, we're live 2 hours, but I've been going non-stop for 2 hours, just talking my ass off. So it's not a bunch of dullness. We did have a special guest, a.k.a. High Top Sports, come on, make a little old-fashioned. We went over Best Rye Whiskey of the Year, which is this Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. I think there's going to be a special guest, but I'm not 100% sure. So we're waiting 1 minute on that. So we were supposed to have a few more special guests, but a lot of people bailed. So we have, I believe, just best mod of the year. So best mod of the year. Now let me describe that what the qualifications were for that. Obviously, we looked at who's been in a lot of the live streams, who's really helped with being a mod versus being just here, right? Who's helped in the background of the channel, whether if that's helping me with bourbon drops or just chat in general about the channel. They do a lot of things that most people don't see. So if that doesn't feel like you, maybe you didn't win. If it feels like you may have won. You never know. There's a handful of mods that don't have a ton, but I will say there's 4 or 5 of them that I will say each and every one of them, it doesn't matter if you won or not. I appreciate help on the channel, regardless of how much or how little you really have done. To me, it means the world. So let's go ahead, send it over to Richard Seacrest, and he's going to go ahead and start that award. Richard, over to you. I told you got to keep my glass full in between the comments. This one was one of the nominees for Best Whiskey of the Year. I'm going to try it when they're not. Yes, call me old-fashioned. Sorry. No, that's my own personal stash. Don't worry about that. So we do have the final award of the evening, which is going to be the Best Mod of the Year. And I know this one was a hard pick, but let's go ahead and go through the nominees. You have Mr. Lopez, the Joker, North Florida Bear, and of course, Tux. But then they scratched out Tux and put Caterpillar, scratched out that, put a cat with a fashionable attire. I don't know what their name is right now, but they're on the list. So let's go ahead and figure out who the winner, Best Mod for 2025 is. And the winner is going to be the one with 50 million names, Tuxedo Cat, aka Caterpillar, aka, you get my point.
Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call it old fashioned, we bringing that. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast.
Back to you, call me old fashioned. You got to clap.
Oh.
Winner was Tux. I don't know what his name is half the time. He changes it. That's why a lot of people don't realize when he's in here and when he's not. I don't think he's in here now. He said don't do it without him. He didn't know he was winning, but it was only maybe we should take it back. You think we should take it back at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, about he didn't even show up for his own award.
Yeah.
What a diva. What a diva. Ladies and gentlemen, again, like I said, it doesn't matter if you just became a mod. We're a mod for years. Appreciate the support regardless. We do have a special guest, Miss EH. She wanted to come in here and flex something about the Fantasy League.
All I gotta say is that I'm a back-to-back champ. Who's gonna take on the champ next year? I'm going for a 3-peat.
She's got a big head right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, we do a Call Me Old Fashioned Fantasy Football League every year. It just ended. The championship was what? This past Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. Was it this past Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, Monday.
Monday. I didn't watch. I didn't care. But it came down to EH and G Money Makers. G Money Makers just kind of choked. I lost on purpose in the second round. I didn't even want to win. Give it to the little people, But there was a handful of y'all in there. Ride the Lightning, iRock, not Tux because he didn't want to. Shit, I can't even remember. North Florida was in there. There's a handful of you guys in there. And I kept telling y'all you can't just let her win. And y'all just let her win. So, again, we'll do it. We do it every year, right? Next year, we'll probably add a couple more teams, make it a little bit harder, make sure the points are being calculated properly because maybe they were off this year. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking.
No.
They were off.
I won fair and square.
It was probably off. But if you're interested in that kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe. Like when it comes time to Fantasy League, I post it all the time. You got to be able to join. There's no buy-in. Winner this year was supposed to win a annual subscription to Blind Barrels plus a championship ring. I don't think she cares for the Blind Barrels, but we got to make sure she gets her championship ring.
I do not care about the Blind Barrels at all.
Yeah, again, I didn't anticipate her winning this year, but we'll probably do that in a giveaway sometime later next year. Get it? Whatever. Raging Kitten says, hello, miss. Talking to you.
Oh, hello.
But we do have a little bit more of the collection to go over. We have one more shelf, which is more of an artsy shelf. So really just had you come in here so you can talk your shit. So
Honestly, boys, I have never played in a fantasy league that I lost. So it's up to you. You know? Don't you agree?
yeah, your first year playing last year, you won, which is kind of crazy. And then you win back to back. You know, I'm just gonna blame Asher as just good luck, but
No. It's called not going against anything you know, and you just gotta go in blind. Just like bourbon.
Caterpillar Gang says, "Want to know how I got these cars?"
Oh, tell me. Oh, Caterpillar, my favorite.
Oh lordy! All right, well, it's time for you to head out. I'm gonna finish up the collection. I just had you come in so you could talk your shit about the fantasy league. How often do you get to do that? Not really often.
Not often, no.
Half of the fantasy league though just dipped out. You know, they were like, I don't want to hear it.
I know. If Caterpillar doesn't do fantasy next year, y'all are gonna hear from me. Just so you know. And I'll leave it at that.
This is funny. All right, gents, let's switch over to the other cam here. Let's go over the rest of the collection, and then we'll start to wrap it up here. We're about 1 hour left till the ball drops. 56 minutes. We're right on schedule. So again, if you're just now tuning in, we went through the entire collection. We went over some awards: best bourbon pour of the year, best rye whiskey, best craft whiskey, and of course, the giving the people what they want award, and then of course the best mod of the year. Now we have one last shelf here. We went over most of it, but this shelf in particular I like a lot. One, because I like the whiskey, but two, it is like when people come in, they look at this shelf as probably the most eye-catching from like an artistic design, other than like the Still Austin. Still Austin's right next to it. You know what I mean? So it gets some eyes too, but this one gets a lot. So let's start with the Old Fitz 7-year bottled and bond. This one, fantastic. This was in the running for give the people what they want. Old Fitz has been hard to get. When they made a shelfer product, 7-year age, 100 proof, still had a little decanter style-ish bottle. A lot of people gravitate towards that. But I like the look of the bottle. Rare Character Single Barrel. This is a single barrel pick from Jacksonville Bourbon Whiskey Society and Shores Liquor. It's good, but it feels Amberana finish. I'm going to die on that hill, so sorry if you were one of the ones that picked it. Rare Character, one of my kind of more favorite bottles this year, especially with the art. This one is their straight rye whiskey. This is batch 1 for 2025. It's 123.76 proof. It's a great rye, but it is a little bit different, but it's a blend, right? They're blending like Indiana, Maryland, Kentucky. They're blending all types of stuff into it, but they're good at blending. Rare Character Batch 1 2025 Kentucky Straight Whiskey as well. I like how like their whiskeys are all boat themes. The ryes are more like places, like scenery, and then their bourbon is like fox or animals. This one is another higher proof one. It's 133.00 proof. Then we start breaking into some of the Redwood Empire stuff. Redwood Empire Grizzly Beast bottled and bond, one of my favorites for this. This is batch 3, by the way. Then we have batch 4 of the Rocket Top Rye bottled and bond. Again, in the running for one of the best ryes of the year. That one just has like a special place for ryes for me. It just hits a lot of the notes that I really like. Caterpillar says 0 to 500 odds. I'm the favorite. You're not wrong. Redwood Empire Pipe Dream 101 proof. This is a new one that I got this year. Really just kind of, I called it before it happened. I said if they make like a mid-range, mid-proof, mid-price bottle of the Pipe Dream, you're going to get more people to the brand in general, because the white label really isn't like, it's good. It's meant for bourbon folk, but not like the real hardcore bourbon nerds. They don't care for 90 proofers. But to get somebody invested into a brand at like 80 to 90 bucks for the cask strength stuff just isn't going to do it. It's too high for people to just jump in on it. Not that it won't work, just not going to grab everybody. That's why that Pipe Dream 101 really is one of the best Redwood Empire bottles. Another one of my favorites, Devil's Tower High Rye Bourbon. This is from their small lot series. This is batch 2. say 99 proofer. It's a Burr rye, right? But I think it does it really well. It's probably one of my favorites of the small lot series in general. It is my favorite of the small lot series. This gives you the best of both. Spice with bourbon. It's perfect. Now, Redwood Empire Screaming Titan Wheated Bourbon. This is batch 2. This one is good, but I thought I was going to like this one the most, to be honest. I felt like more the wheated was going to be my style. It just didn't hit. Like, it was good, don't get me wrong. I compared it right next to the Devil's Tower, and the Devil's Tower was just that much better. Another one that I still kind of hit or miss on is the Van Dusen Straight Rye Whiskey. It's the high malt mash, and literally every time I drink it, it's different. It's batch 1, 94 proof. It's good. It's just not, like, I don't recommend it, but it has one hell of a cool label. Next up, Pipe Dream Cask Strength, right? Everybody knows what the cask strength is. This is the old labeling. This is 116.8 proof. Same thing for cask strength. I have the Lost Monarch, which is their blended whiskey, which is basically a blend of their bourbon and rye. What's the proof on this one again? 116.2 proof. And then to kind of wrap up here, I have the 2 white labels, which is their Pipe Dream and the Emerald Giant. I like the Emerald Giant. I didn't like it enough to buy the cask strength, versus where I really did like the Lost Monarch and the Pipe Dream quite a bit. I drank all of the Pipe Dream, or I drank all of the Lost Monarch white label, so that's why I no longer have that one. So let's see. So there you kind of have it, right? That is my entire collection as of right now. Now, granted, I will say, if I would have filmed this 2 months ago, before I kind of decided to stop buying bourbon and whiskey for a little bit, one, save some money, but also to drink through my collection, right? Because I had a bunch of bottles kind of like hovering, right? We finished off the Stag, we finished off the Manifest whiskey, we finished off the St. Augustine, we gave a handful away. Like, we tried to burn through some of this collection because as cool as it is to have a good and large collection, the caveat is just like some bottles are almost going to be not drank and they're going to die on the shelf, which nobody wants. I spent a lot of hard-earned money on these bottles. I want to drink them, and I don't want them all to go to waste. So sometimes you have to stop buying and drinking what you have, right? Which isn't a bad thing to do. But to be honest, the collection probably was going to be twice as big if I didn't do that. And who knows how much larger it could have got if I kept buying and didn't drink it and didn't give any away. You know what I mean? It could have got way out of hand. So let's go ahead and send it back over to Richard Seacrest. I think he's trying to wrap it up. I think he has a party or something to go to. I can hear him back there saying something. So let me send it over to Richard Seacrest. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There was the awards. They came and went. It feels like every time this year flies by. We went through the collection. We had some special guests, and now it's time to go ahead and wind down the night. Call me old-fashioned. If you're going to stay and do a hangout stream, by all means, hang out. But it's not time for me to go home. It's time for me to go party. So I will see you on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That wraps up the professional portion of our stream. We went through the entire collection. We went through tons of awards. This year, we try to really put some effort into it for you guys, just to make it entertaining. If you're going to spend your New Year's Eve with me drinking on YouTube, I want it to be entertaining. I want you guys to have some fun. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm going to hang out for a little bit, probably another like 15 minutes or so. Then I'm going to go hang out with the wife, watch the ball drop, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to re-watch the ball drop for like the Central and the Pacific time. We do this every year. I like to spend Eastern ball drop with the wife. We wake up the kid. We say, hey, you know what I mean? We do our own little thing. But then I'm going to come back on. We'll do the tall stream more than likely. So that way, we can do it to it. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. But let me know what you boys are sipping on tonight. What's your kind of go-to for the New Year's Eve? Is it a special bottle? Is it a basic bottle? Are you too drunk to even worry about what it is? Let's check the chat. Caterpillar Gang says, I'd like to thank my agent. This is a great honor for me. Thanks to Call Me Old Fashioned, Associated Press. Raging Kitten says, congrats. I mean, like I was saying before, like that award went to Tux mainly because not just what he does from a mod standpoint, but what he does behind the scenes as well. You know, this year he has helped a lot. Not that the other ones didn't. They helped me a lot too. And I appreciate everybody's help when it comes to the mods and stuff like that. But I have to give credit when credit's due sometimes, you know? So. Raging Cajun says, Cooper and Cass at the moment. Whew, I almost got one of those the other day. And, man, I just didn't pull the trigger, but I, like, hear good things about them. Bro, talking for 2 hours straight, my voice is tired. So, but when it comes to the whiskey awards, I think really my favorite bottle this year has to be this Jack, the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. For me to go through more than 2 bottles in a single year really means like I just really like that bottle, right? It's not the best pour I've ever had, but really well rounded. When I want a pour of rye, or when I want a really good cocktail, like, and I'm living above my means in a sense of like putting this in a whiskey ginger is excessive, right? But it's just perfectly made for me. Unfortunately, it's just a little overpriced, but not for the bottle, but for a whiskey ginger. But man, is it good. You know what I mean? And obviously I got this one as a gift. I'd love to say I'm going to savor it and cherish it just like I do my other gifted bottles, but this thing's going to be gone soon. So I already know. And I'm going to buy another one. So it just is a testament to that bottle. Caterpillar Gang says, hard work and dedication pays off. Maybe I'll end up on a box of Wheaties. Well, let's not get ahead of yourself. You know what I mean? One award. Don't get crazy. Rage Kid says, this is an 8-year MGP pick, 121.4 proof. I like the proof. 8 years isn't bad either, so it sounds money to me. Caterpillar Gang says, meanwhile, I don't go through an entire bottle of anything in a year, LOL. I wasn't for a while, right? I probably didn't kill one bottle till at least July, you know? And that's when I realized like I was buying quite a bit, like a bottle or 2 or 3 every Friday, cracking it open, drinking it, taking sips, right? And then sticking it on the shelf and be like, cool, I own that. And then I just rinse and repeat. And I was always drinking the newest thing for the week that I bought it. But I wasn't, you know, I mean, I drink a couple drinks here and there, but it wasn't anything crazy. You don't drink too much off stream. But what I kept seeing is like the whiskey was stacking up, but I wasn't finishing anything. And then like the Lucky 7 Holiday Toast is like the example. I love that bottle. Love that bottle. And it has the oxidation or whatever's happened to that bottle has affected it to the point where I'm like, this is good, but it's not what I remember. Maybe my palate's changed, maybe whatever, but it just goes to show like you really do need to drink your bottles that you open in somewhat of a reasonable amount of time. I still don't recommend buying a bunch of stuff and letting it sit there closed, right? I think if you buy whiskey, you should drink it. And that's kind of why I said I'm going to stop buying as much at the point where I was, because I was like, I don't have room for the whiskey, and I want to finish off my bottles. The only caveat to that is I kept buying this and drinking it, and going, well, I'm out, I can buy another. So I was drinking a lot of the Jack Daniels, and I just wasn't finishing off everything else. It takes me 3 odd years to finish any one bottle. That's too long. A place in Colorado near me has a store pick with copper and cast. I don't know which one, but it's strong as shit. Sounds like it's right up your alley, because I know you're like a proof whore. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, oh, man, I haven't had it neat in like a good little bit. Fantastic. You know that country song, everything I always wanted. Like that's what I was thinking. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and end it. I don't want the stream to go on too much longer than the professional stuff, just because when people rewatch it, I don't want them to just watch us hanging out all night. But we will end this stream. Once the ball drops, give me like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. We'll reopen another stream where we can kind of hang out, bring in the New Year's and have some fun, you know. Obviously, hopefully I see you guys come back. If not, understand, right? You got your own stuff to do. Rage Occasion says, I cut my buying down a lot, mostly just picks now and anything I find interesting. So, Raging, to kind of go off that, it's kind of what I did, right? It's like, for a while I was buying bottles from stuff that I wanted, stuff that I heard I would like, but then also recommendations from other people. And I like trying different whiskeys. The issue was I was getting a lot of recommendations of stuff I didn't really care for, and that's a waste of money, right? And then on top of that, like it was just a lot. You know what I mean? In a month, I would buy 12 bottles, and I'm like, I'm not even drinking one, like fully. So at that rate, like I was going to be sitting on piles of whiskey that I'll never be able to drink. And I had a lot of really good bottles. Like I had the Stag, I had the Manifest whiskey, I had, you know, a couple different Jacks, and it just wasn't getting finished. And like I would drink them, just not a lot. And a lot of times I would see the bottle get to half or a little less than half, kind of like my Russells up there, the 10-year. And then it would sit, right? And because I would have the new thing that kind of had my attention. So it was kind of just hard to justify buying whiskey for it to drink half and die. And if you're spending $200 on a bottle sometimes, or $150, for it to just die halfway, it kind of sucks, you know? So I definitely think like it is smart for people to buy whiskey in moderation. Don't spend more than you should. And at the same time, like buy what you like, right? And then drink your bottles, you know? If you have an open bottle of Jack, for example, and you really like this bottle, just drink it, right? Drink it. And then if you want another one, buy another one, or buy something different, then drink that. You know, I think having a decent selection's okay. I think what I have right now, 120 plus bottles, a little excessive still. I'd like to see that number right at like 80, right? Ideally 80. I think around 80, I would have a good selection, and I would be able to finish bottles off at a reasonable pace. And as I finish one off, buy a new one. I don't think that's realistic while I have this channel, but you know what I mean? I do it also for you guys, so that way you guys can see reviews and drink, you know, vicariously if you need to. But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. Again, as always, you know, I appreciate the support, and we're gonna ring in the New Year's in style. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the last time for 2025. Drop a like, subscribe if you are new, and ladies and gentlemen, I will see you on the other side of 2025, and I will see you next year. Peace.
Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call me old-fashioned, we bringing that heat. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast. Dabbling with the rear view, raise your glass. Bourbon hunting for unicorns, that's the chase. High ride heat, put a smile on my face. Respect to the OGs, yeah, they set the tone. Tugs, Mr. Lopez, I rock, Aragon. Notes hit strong, low-key smooth ride. I'll see you on